Lieutenant Commander Noah Kelly opened his eyes. His head hurt a lot. He tried to remember what happened. He was on night patrol on the USS Defiant near Jupiter. Then everything went dark. The air smelled strange. Too sweet. And the gravity felt wrong. He felt lighter, like he could jump higher than normal. Noah sat up slowly. The room spun for a moment, then settled. He was not on his ship anymore. The room was round with walls that glowed a soft blue. There was no door that he could see. "The subject is awake," said a voice. Noah turned his head. 5 creatures stood watching him. They were tall and thin with skin that changed colors like soap bubbles in the sun. Each had 4 eyes that blinked in strange patterns. They had 2 arms and 2 legs, but their fingers were long and had 1 extra joint. "Where am I?" Noah asked. His voice sounded rough to his ears. The tallest creature stepped forward. "You are on HFY, 3rd planet of the Axial Star. Am High Priest Zalthrax of the Lumidian Conclave." Noah tried to stand. His legs felt shaky, but they worked. The aliens stepped back, watching him with all their eyes. "You kidnapped me," Noah said. His hand went to his hip where his gun should be. It was gone. "Not kidnapped," the tall alien said. "Summoned. Through the Void Gate. It is a great honor." "Send me back," Noah said. "No." The alien named Zalthrax pointed to a large metal ring. In the center of the room. Inside the ring, energy swirled like water going down a drain. "That is not possible yet," Zalthrax said. "The Void Gate needs time to recharge. 1 standard cycle." "How long is that in Earth time?" Noah asked. "Approximately 1 Earth year," Zalthrax said. "A year?" Noah felt anger rising in him. "You can't keep me here for a year. We had no choice," another alien said. This one's voice was higher. "Our world is in danger. We needed a warrior from a death world." "A what?" "A death world," Zalthrax said. "That is what we call planets like yours. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. The gravity is crushing. The atmosphere is toxic to most species. Your world has extreme weather, natural disasters, and dangerous predators. Yet your kind not only survived, but thrived." Noah crossed his arms. "So what? Why does that matter to you?" "Because we are being invaded," Zalthrax said. "The Vextari Collective has conquered 3 nearby star systems. They will reach HFY in less than 60 days. Our people have known peace for 10,000 years. We have forgotten how to fight." "That's not my problem," Noah said. Just then, a loud alarm sounded. The aliens looked at each other with what Noah guessed was fear. "Vextari scout ships." One of them said, "They are not supposed to be here yet." Zalthrax turned to Noah. "Now it is your problem too, human. If they find the Void Gate, they will use it to reach Earth." That got Noah's attention. If these Vextari were as bad as the Lumidians said, Earth could be in danger. Zalthrax handed Noah what looked like a gun. It was light and made of a blue. Metal Noah had never seen before. "This is a pulse rifle," Zalthrax said. "Point and think. It will respond to your mind." "You expect me to fight for you?" Noah asked. "I expect you to fight for yourself," Zalthrax said, "and for your world." More alarms sounded. The room shook. Noah heard what sounded like explosions in the distance. "They are attacking the temple." One of the aliens cried. Noah looked at the gun in his hand, then at the scared aliens. He made a quick decision. "Get behind me," he said, moving toward what he now saw was a hidden door in the wall. "Show me where these Vextari are." The door slid open. Noah looked out into a long hallway made of the same glowing blue material as the room. At the far end, something was burning. "This way," Zalthrax said, leading Noah down a side passage. The temple has defense shields, but they were not designed for a direct attack. They reached a large window. Outside, Noah saw a city of tall, thin towers that looked like they were made of crystal. Above the city, 3 black ships shaped like arrowheads fired red beams at the buildings. "Those are Vextari scout ships," Zalthrax said. "Small ones." As Noah watched, one of the ships turned and headed straight for the temple. "We need to get to the defense controls," Zalthrax said. "This way?" They ran through more hallways. Noah noticed the Lumedians moved quickly despite their thin legs. They reached a room full of what looked like control panels. "Our weapons are not working," one of the Lumedians said, touching the panels with long fingers. "The Vextari are blocking them somehow." Noah felt the building shake again. "Do you have any manual weapons? Anything not connected to your main systems?" The Lumedians looked at each other. "There are maintenance tools in the lower levels," one said. "Get them," Noah ordered. "Anything that can be used as a weapon. And I need to know the layout of this place." One of the Lumedians touched a panel, and a 3D map appeared in the air. Noah studied it quickly, looking for choke points and defensible positions. "Here and here," he said, pointing. "We can set up barriers." "How many of your people can?" Fight? Zalthrax seemed confused. "None of us are warriors." "Then you'll learn fast," Noah said. "Get everyone who can hold a weapon. We need to protect the Void Gate." The building shook again, harder this time. Part of the ceiling fell in. "They are landing," a Lumedian said. Fear in its voice. Noah felt the pulse rifle grow warm in his hand, as if it was connecting to his thoughts. He took a deep breath. "Show me where they'll come in," he said. Zalthrax led him to a large hall near the entrance of the temple. 20 Lumedians waited there, holding tools and looking terrified. Noah quickly showed them how to take cover and where to aim. "Don't stand in the open," he told them. "Shoot and move. Always keep something between you and them." The doors at the end of the hall began to glow red. Something was burning through. "Get ready," Noah said, raising his rifle. The doors exploded inward. Through the smoke, Noah saw them, the Vextari. They were big, at least 7 feet tall, with tough, scaly skin and 4 arms. Each arm held a different weapon. Noah didn't hesitate. He fired. The pulse rifle sent a blue beam that hit the first Vextari in the chest. It fell back with a roar. "Fire!" Noah shouted to the Lumedians. The aliens obeyed, their shots wild at first, but hitting enough to slow the Vextari advance. Noah moved. From cover to cover, aiming for what looked like weak points, joints, eyes, throats. The fight was hard. The Vextari were strong and didn't seem to feel pain like humans did. But they weren't used to fighting someone from a death world. Noah was faster, more creative, and more determined. After what seemed like hours, but was probably only minutes, the last Vextari fell. Noah was bleeding from a cut on his arm. He looked around at the Lumedians. 3 were hurt, but none seemed dead. "They'll send more," he said, catching his breath. This was just a scout team. Zalthrax approached him, the alien skin now a pale blue color. "You fought ... remarkably, just as the prophecy said." "What prophecy?" Noah asked. "The warrior from the death world who would save us from the darkness," Zalthrax said. "But I did not expect such ... effectiveness." Noah checked his rifle's power. Level, still good. "If I'm going to help you," he said, "I need to know everything about these Vextari. And I need to contact Earth." "The Void Gate cannot send you back yet," Zalthrax reminded him. "I know that," Noah said, "but maybe it can send a message. Earth needs to know what's out here." Noah looked at the dead Vextari warriors, then at the scared but determined Lumedians. He was stuck here for now. Might as well make the best of. And when I do get back," he added, "I'm bringing friends." 3 months passed. Noah now knew his way, around the Lumidian Temple and the city beyond. The Lumidians called their capital city Lux Aeternum. It was beautiful with tall crystal towers that caught the light of their sun and broke it into rainbows. Noah stood on a balcony looking out over the city. Parts of it still showed damage from Vextari attacks. The aliens had come back twice more, each time with bigger ships and more warriors. Each time, Noah had helped fight them off. But it was getting harder. "Commander Kelly," a voice called from behind him. Noah turned. It was Zalthrax. The high priest now wore a simple blue robe instead of the fancy clothes from when they first met. War had changed the Lumidians. "Just Noah," he said. "I'm not really a commander here." "You command our defense forces," Zalthrax said. "Thanks to you, we have learned to fight." It was true. Noah had spent weeks training the Lumidians. They weren't natural fighters, but they were smart and learned quickly. They had converted many of their science tools into weapons. Their ships, once used only for peaceful exploration, now had shields and guns. "The next attack will be worse," Noah said. "We need more help." Zalthrax's skin turned a worried purple color. "The Void Gate is still not ready. It needs more time to gather enough energy." Noah had been working on another idea. What if we don't need the Void Gate? What if Earth finds us first? How? Noah pointed to a small device on the table. He had built it from parts the Lumidians gave him. "This sends a signal, a message. If Earth picks it up, they might be able to track it back here." "And if the Vextari pick it up first?" Zalthrax asked. "They already know we're here," Noah said. "We have to take the risk." Zalthrax nodded slowly. "Do it." Noah activated the device. A small light began to blink. The message was simple. SOS, Earth military coordinates, his name and rank. Over and over, the signal went out to the stars. "Now we wait," Noah said. Back on Earth, Lieutenant Olivia Martinez sat in a small, dark room filled with computers. She had been searching for Noah Kelly for 3 months. They had worked together before. He was a good officer and a friend. Her computer beeped. She sat up straight and looked at the screen. "What is that?" she whispered to herself. A signal, faint but clear, and it had Noah's personal code embedded in it. She ran to her commander's office. "Sir, I found him." Admiral Joseph Clark looked up from his desk. "Found who, Lieutenant?" "Commander." "Kelly, sir. He's alive, and he's sending a signal from somewhere not in our solar system." Admiral Clark frowned. "That's impossible. The signal matches his personal code, sir, and it contains coordinates I've never seen before." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Show me." Soon, NASA and the Space Force were tracking the signal too. Scientists confirmed it came from a star system 20 light years away. But somehow, the signal was reaching Earth instantly, not taking 20 years to travel. "It defies our understanding of physics," one scientist said. "But it's definitely from Kelly," Admiral Clark said. "And if he's alive out there, we need to bring him home." "How?" Olivia asked. "We don't have ships that can travel that far." "No," the Admiral agreed, "but something took him there. Maybe we can use the same method to bring him back, or to send help." They set up a mission. 6 volunteers would go. Olivia, who insisted on leading the team, and 5 of the best Marines. They would try to find whatever had taken Noah and use it to follow him. The USS Defiant returned to Jupiter, where Noah had disappeared. New sensors scanned for any strange energy. For days, nothing happened. Then, on the 4th day, the sensors went crazy. A circle of energy appeared in space in front of the ship. "It's some kind of portal," the science officer said. Admiral Clark, watching from Earth via video, gave the order, "Send the team through." Olivia and her team put on their spacesuits and got into a small shuttle. The shuttle launched from the Defiant and headed straight for the portal. As they got closer, the energy pulled them in faster. "Hang on!" Olivia shouted. The shuttle shot through the portal. For a moment, everything went dark. Then light returned, and they were in a large room with blue glowing walls. And Noah Kelly was standing there waiting for them. "Welcome to HFY," he said with a small smile. "Sorry about the strange invitation." Olivia couldn't believe her eyes. "Noah? You're alive!" She jumped out of the shuttle, followed by the Marines. All of them kept their weapons ready. "I'm alive," Noah agreed. "And I've made some new friends." He gestured to the Lumidians standing behind him. The Marines raised their guns, but Noah stepped in front of the aliens. "They're not the enemy," he said quickly. "They made a mistake bringing me here, but they need our help." "They kidnapped you," Olivia said. Double quotes. "Yes," Noah admitted. "But they did it because they're desperate. There's another alien race out here called the Vextari. They're invading this whole part of space. If they find Earth, they'll invade us too." Olivia finished. "Exactly. And Earth has something these folks need." "What's that?" Noah smiled. "Deathworlders. People who evolved on a planet that should have killed them. People who know how to fight." The Marines looked at each other. One of them, Sergeant Ben Harris, stepped forward. "You're saying we're special because our planet is dangerous?" "To them, Earth is a nightmare," Noah explained. "The gravity would crush them. The weather would kill them. The animals would eat them. And we live there like it's normal." Olivia looked at the Lumidians more carefully now. They did look fragile compared to humans. Their bodies were thin, their skin looked soft, and they moved carefully like they might break. "These are peaceful people," Noah continued. "They've had no war for thousands of years. The Vextari are the opposite. They live to conquer. And they're coming back with a bigger fleet soon." "So you want us to help fight off these Vextari?" Olivia asked. "I want more than that," Noah said. "I want Earth to send a fleet. I want to show the Vextari what happens when you threaten a planet of Deathworlders." Zalthrax stepped forward. "We offer an exchange. Our technology for your protection. We can help Earth reach the stars in ways your people have only dreamed of." Olivia looked at her team, then back at Noah. "I was sent to bring you home, and I will go home," Noah said. "But not yet. Not until we deal with the Vextari. They're a threat to everyone." Olivia thought about it. Then she made a decision. "I need to report back to Admiral Clark, but I think he'll agree to help." "Good," Noah said, "because the Void Gate works both ways now. We can send messages through it, maybe even ships eventually. It's like a wormhole?" One of the Marines asked. "Something like that," Noah said. "The Lumidians can explain it better than I can. But it means Earth can reach this part of space without taking 20 years to get here." Olivia nodded. "I'll take this information back. But I'm coming back, Noah, with more people." "I'm counting on it," Noah said. "Because when the Vextari return, I want them to find not just one Deathworlder waiting for them, but a whole fleet of them." Olivia and her team prepared to return through the Void Gate. Before they left, Noah gave them data crystals full of information about the Lumidians and the Vextari. "Tell them to hurry," Noah said as they boarded their shuttle. "We don't have much time." Olivia nodded. "The fleet will come, Noah. I promise." The shuttle entered the Void Gate and vanished. Noah turned to Zalthrax. "Now we prepare," he said. "Because when my people come back, we're going to need to be ready to fight the biggest battle this part of space has ever seen." Zalthrax's skin turned a determined gold color. "We will be ready, Noah Kelly of Earth. Thanks to you, we are learning to be warriors again." Noah looked up at the stars visible through the temple's crystal ceiling. Somewhere out there, the Vextari were gathering. Their forces and soon they would learn what it meant to make enemies of a species from a death world. 1 month after Olivia left, the Void Gate activated again. Noah was in the command center when it happened. He had helped the Lumidians turn their temple into a military base. Maps of the star system covered the walls. Defense plans were stored in their computers. The peaceful aliens were learning the art of war. Energy spike in the Void Gate, a Lumidian named Valex said. Something is coming through. Noah ran to the gate room. The circular device glowed brightly, energy swirling inside it like a whirlpool. Then a ship emerged. It was much bigger than the shuttle Olivia had used. On its side was painted USS Valiant. "They're back," Noah said with a smile. More ships followed. Small, fast fighters. Transport ships carrying troops and supplies. Within an hour, 6 Earth ships had come through the gate. Olivia was on the first ship. She walked down the ramp and hugged Noah. "Told you I'd be back," she said. "And you brought." "Friends," Noah replied, looking at all the ships and soldiers. "This is just the first wave," Olivia said. "Admiral Clark is sending a full battle fleet. They'll be here in 2 weeks once the gate is stable enough for larger ships." A tall man in a captain's uniform walked down the ramp. "Commander Kelly." He said, "Captain Gregory Summers, USS Valiant. We've heard a lot about you." "All good things, I hope," Noah said. "Mostly that you've been helping these aliens fight off an invasion," Captain Summers said. "We're here to help with that." Over the next few days, more Earth forces arrived. Engineers helped the Lumidians upgrade their ships with better weapons. Marines trained with the Lumidian volunteers. Scientists from both worlds shared knowledge. Noah watched it all with pride. The Lumidians were quick learners. Their natural intelligence made up for their lack of fighting instinct. And they had technology that amazed the humans. Ships that could travel faster than light, energy shields, healing devices that could fix almost any injury. "Your people are changing ours," Zalthrax said as they watched humans and Lumidians working together. "For the better, I hope," Noah replied. "Yes," Zalthrax agreed. "We have been peaceful for too long. We forgot that sometimes you must fight to protect what matters." 2 weeks later, the main fleet arrived. 20 Earth ships came through the Void Gate, led by the massive USS Defender. Admiral Clark himself was in command. "Commander Kelly," the Admiral said when they met, "you've caused quite a stir back home. First contact with aliens, and you did it by getting kidnapped." "Summoned, sir," Noah corrected with a smile. "And it wasn't my idea." The Admiral laughed. "Well, however it happened, we're here now. And we have a war to win." They gathered in the command center. Human and Lumidian officers stood around a large table that showed a 3D map of the sector. "The Vextari have conquered these 3-star systems," Noah explained, pointing to red areas. "On the map, they're gathering their forces here, at Nexus Point. Our scouts say they have at least 60 ships." "We have 30, Admiral Clark said, "plus whatever the Lumidians can provide." 17 vessels, Zalthrax said. "Not originally designed for war, but we have modified them as Commander Kelly suggested. So we're outnumbered." Captain Summers sighed. "Yes," Noah agreed. "But we have advantages they don't know about." "Such as?" the Admiral asked. "Earth ships are built stronger," Noah said. "Lumidian ships are faster. And the Vextari have never fought humans before. They don't know what we can do." "And what can we do?" one of the Marine commanders asked. Noah smiled. "We can fight like Deathworlders." The plan was simple but bold. The combined fleet would not wait for the Vextari to attack. They would take the fight to the enemy at Nexus Point. "Hit them where they feel safe," Noah explained. "Show them nowhere is beyond our reach." Admiral Clark approved the plan. The fleet prepared for battle. Weapons were checked. Shields were tested. Fighters practiced their formations. The night before they were to leave, Noah couldn't sleep. He stood on a balcony looking at the unfamiliar stars. Olivia found him there. "Nervous?" she asked. "A little," Noah admitted. "I've been fighting small battles for months." "This is different. It's what we trained for," Olivia said. "And we're not alone. We have good ships, good people." Noah nodded. "The Luminians trust us to protect them. I don't want to let them down." "We won't," Olivia promised. She took his hand. "You know, when you disappeared, I never stopped looking for you." Noah looked at her. "Why?" "Because you're too stubborn to die," she said with a smile. "And because ... I missed you." Noah felt something change between them. He had known Olivia for years, had worked with her many times. But this felt different. Before he could say anything, his communicator beeped. "Kelly here," he said. "Commander, you're needed in the command center," Captain Summers' voice said. "The scouts have returned with new information." "On my way," Noah replied. He looked at Olivia. "We'll finish this conversation later?" "Count on it," she said. In the command center, the news was not good. The scout ships had spotted a new Vextari fleet arriving at Nexus Point. "They now have over 100 ships," the scout leader reported. "Far more than we expected." Admiral Clark frowned. "They must have called in forces from other sectors." "Should we delay the attack?" Captain Summers asked. Noah studied the map. "No. If we wait, they'll only get stronger. And they might find the Void Gate. If that happens, Earth will be in danger." "I agree," the Admiral said. "But we need a new plan. We can't match them ship for ship." Noah thought for a moment. Then he smiled. "We don't need to match them. We just need to outsmart them." He turned to Zalthrax. "You said your scientists developed a cloaking device?" "Yes," the High Priest replied. "It bends light around our ships, making them invisible. But it only works for short periods." "That's all we need," Noah said. He began to outline a new plan. The humans and Limidians listened carefully. When Noah finished, Admiral Clark nodded slowly. "It's risky," he said, "but it might work." "The Vextari think in straight lines," Noah explained. "They expect direct attacks. They won't expect this." "Very well," the Admiral decided. "We proceed as Commander Kelly suggests. All ships prepare for departure at 0600. As the meeting broke up, Zalthrax approached Noah. "Your plan is not like our usual strategies. It seems ... disorderly." "That's the point," Noah said. "Humans evolved on a world where disorder is normal. We learned to use chaos as a weapon." "And you think it will work against the Vextari?" Noah nodded. "They've never fought Deathworlders before. Time to show them what that means." The next morning, the fleet gathered above Lumid Crime. Earth ships with their powerful engines and heavy armor. Lumidian ships with their advanced shields and energy weapons. Together, they formed a force unlike any seen in this part of space before. Admiral Clark gave the order. "All ships, prepare for faster-than-light jump." Destination: Nexus Point. Noah stood on the bridge of the USS Defender beside the Admiral. He thought about how far he had come from that first day when he woke up in the Lumidian temple. Now he was heading into the biggest battle of his life, with the fate of 2 worlds resting on the outcome. "FTL drives engaged," the helmsman reported. "Jump in 3, 2, 1... The stars outside the viewports stretched into lines as the fleet leaped toward their destination and into history. The combined fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Nexus system. Through the viewports, they could see the massive Vextari armada. Over 100 enemy ships were gathered around a large space station. The station looked like a metal spider with long arms reaching out into space. "All ships, battle positions," Admiral Clark ordered. His voice was calm, but Noah could see the tension in his face. The human and Lumidian ships moved into formation. According to Noah's plan, they would split into 3 groups. Each group had a different job to do. "Enemy ships are moving," the sensor officer reported. "They've spotted us." "Right on time," Noah said. He turned to the Admiral. "Sir, we should begin." Admiral Clark nodded. Launch Operation Deathworld. The first part of the plan began. 10 small, fast Earth fighters shot forward, heading straight for the Vextari fleet. They looked like they were attacking on their own, which made no sense. The Vextari responded as expected, sending 20 of their ships to intercept. "They took the bait," Captain Summers said over the comm system. He was leading the second group. "Execute Phase 2, the Admiral ordered. Captain Summers' group, which included 5 Earth cruisers and 7 Lumidian ships, activated their cloaking devices. They disappeared from view. The Vextari sensors couldn't detect them. Meanwhile, the small fighters continued their charge. Just before they reached the enemy ships, they split apart, each flying in a different direction. The Vextari ships tried to follow, but the Earth pilots were too skilled. They led the enemy on a wild chase through the system. "Phase 3, Admiral Clark said. The main fleet, led by the USS Defender, began to advance slowly. This would draw the attention of the remaining Vextari ships. And it worked. The enemy commander ordered most of their fleet to move toward the humans. But while all this was happening, Captain Summers' cloaked ships had slipped behind the Vextari fleet. They were now in position near the space station. "Begin attack run," Summers ordered. The cloaked ships dropped their invisibility and opened fire on the station. Their weapons tore into its unprotected rear sections. The Vextari had not expected an attack from that direction. "Direct hits on their command center," Summers reported. "Their shields are down." On the Defender's bridge, Noah smiled. Now for the real surprise. From the cargo bays of Summers' ships, hundreds of small pods launched toward the station. Each pod contained 5 human Marines in space armor. The pods attached to the station's hull. The Marines cut their way inside. "Boarding teams have entered the station," Summers reported. This was the key to Noah's plan. The Vextari were strong in space combat, but the humans had learned they were not as good at close-quarters fighting. And humans from Earth, with their stronger muscles and tougher bodies, had a big advantage in hand-to-hand combat. "The Vextari fleet is turning back," the sensor officer said. "They've realized what's happening." "Too late," Noah said. "Now we fight." The space around Nexus Point erupted in battle. Energy beams crisscrossed the darkness. Explosions flared like small suns. Ships maneuvered for position, trying to get clear shots while avoiding enemy fire. The human ships fought differently than the Lumidians or the Vextari. They moved in unpredictable patterns. They took risks no alien would consider. Some Earth captains flew their ships directly at the enemy, firing all weapons, then veered away at the last second. "The Vextari are confused by our tactics," Zalthrax observed. The High Priest was on the bridge, watching the battle. "That's the point," Noah explained. "They expect everyone to fight logically, to follow rules. Humans don't always do that." Inside the Vextari station, the Marines were fighting their way to the control center. The Vextari warriors were bigger and had 4 arms, but the humans were faster and more adaptable. They used the station's corridors and maintenance shafts to outmaneuver the enemy. Sergeant Ben Harris led one of the Marine teams. He had been with Olivia on the first mission through the Void Gate. "This way," he told his squad, checking a map on his wrist computer. "The control center should be 2 levels up." They fought through groups of Vextari guards. The aliens used energy weapons that fired red beams, but their aim wasn't good in close quarters. The Marines used their training to take cover, advance in teams, and pick off the enemy one by one. "Harris to command," the sergeant said into his comm. "We're approaching the main control room." "Copy that," Olivia replied from the USS Valiant. She was coordinating the boarding teams. "The other squads are securing the power core and weapon systems." "Roger that," Harris said. "We'll take the control room and end this." In space, the battle was turning in favor of the human Lumedian fleet. 6 Vextari ships had been destroyed, and several more were damaged. The Earth ships had lost only 2 fighters, and 1 cruiser was badly damaged. "Their formation is breaking," the tactical officer reported. "They're not used to fighting opponents who don't retreat," Admiral Clark said. "Press the advantage." On the Vextari station, Sergeant Harris and his team reached the control room door. It was sealed shut. "Breach charges," Harris ordered. A Marine placed small explosives around the doorframe. The team took cover. Fire in the hole. The charges exploded, blowing the door inward. The Marines rushed through the opening. Weapons ready. Inside was the Vextari Command Center. A dozen aliens worked at control stations. At the center stood a larger Vextari with red markings on its scaly skin. This was clearly the commander. "Nobody move," Harris shouted. The Vextari froze. Their commander stared at the humans with yellow eyes. "Impossible," it said in a deep, rumbling voice. "How did your kind breach our defenses?" "We're full of surprises," Harris replied. "Now order your fleet to stand down, or we take this station apart, piece by piece." The Vextari commander seemed to consider its options. Then it made a gesture to one of its officers. "No," Harris shouted, recognizing the move as a signal. The officer pressed to control. Alarms began to sound throughout the station. "Self-destruct sequence initiated," a computer voice announced. "How long?" Harris demanded, grabbing the commander. "Long enough for our fleet to escape," the alien replied. "But you will all die here." Harris shoved the commander aside and spoke into his comm. "All teams evacuate immediately. The station is set to self-destruct." Across the station, Marines broke off their fights and ran for their entry points. They had trained for emergency extractions. Each team knew exactly where to go. "Harris to Valiant," the sergeant called. "We need emergency pickup. Station is going to blow." On the Valiant, Olivia responded immediately. "All ships move in 4. Extraction. Boarding teams, mark your positions." The human ships that had been fighting nearby broke off and raced toward the station. They maneuvered close to the hull where the Marines were gathering. 30 seconds to detonation. The stations. Computer announced. "Move, move, move," Harris shouted as his team reached their exit point. The hull had been cut open when they entered. Now they jumped through the opening into space. Their suits protected them as they pushed off from the station toward the waiting ships. Across the station, other Marine teams did the same. The ships extended capture nets, a technology borrowed from the Lumedians. The nets caught the floating Marines and pulled them to safety. 10 seconds to detonation, the computer voice said. "All teams report." Olivia called over the comm. One by one, the team leaders responded. All were clear except for 2 Marines who had been cut off during the fighting. 5 seconds. The last ship pulled away from the station, carrying the Marines it had rescued. "Get clear." Admiral Clark ordered. The station exploded in a massive fireball. The blast wave pushed outward, catching several Vextari ships that had been too close. They tumbled out of control, damaged by the explosion. On the Defender's bridge, Noah watched the destruction with mixed feelings. They had lost 2 good Marines, but the Vextari had lost their command station and many ships. "The enemy fleet is retreating," the sensor officer reported. Admiral Clark turned to Noah. Your plan worked, Commander. The Vextari are running. Not all of them, Noah said, pointing to the largest enemy ship. That's their flagship. It's not retreating. The massive Vextari vessel was moving toward the human fleet. It was twice the size of the Defender and bristling with weapons. They're powering up all weapons, the tactical officer said. They're going to make a last stand. Admiral Clark looked at Noah. Suggestions, Commander? Noah studied the enemy ship for a moment. Then he smiled. Let's show them what Deathworlders do when cornered. The Vextari flagship moved toward the human Lemedian fleet like a giant predator. Its weapons glowed with energy, ready to fire. All ships, defensive positions. Admiral Clark ordered. Prepare for heavy assault. Noah studied the enemy ship. On the view screen, it was massive, with layers of armor and powerful weapons. But he had learned something important about the Vextari during his months fighting them. Sir, Noah said to the Admiral, their ships have a weak point. The main power core is near the rear, protected by shields but vulnerable if we can get close enough. How close? The Admiral asked. Very close, Noah admitted. Too close for our big ships. Admiral Clark frowned. And what do you suggest? A small strike team, Noah said. Fast fighters that can slip past their defenses and hit the power core directly. The Admiral considered this. It's extremely risky. Yes, sir, Noah agreed. But so is facing their full firepower. After a moment, Admiral Clark nodded. Assemble your team, Commander. You have my authorization? Noah contacted the hangar bay. I need the 5 best fighter pilots we have. Within minutes, 6 small fighters were ready to launch. Noah would lead the mission himself. Olivia, now on the bridge of the Valiant, called him on a private channel. You're going out there personally? She asked. He could hear the worry in her voice. Someone needs to show them the way, Noah replied. And I've fought these aliens longer than anyone. There was a pause. Then Olivia said, Come back in one piece, Noah. We still have that conversation to finish. Noah smiled. Count on it. His fighter launched from the Defender, followed by the other 5. They were small, fast ships designed for close combat. Each carried just enough weapons for the mission. Strike team, form up on me, Noah ordered. We go in fast and hit hard. The 6 fighters flew in tight formation toward the Vextari flagship. The huge alien vessel fired its weapons at the main human fleet, not noticing the small ships approaching from below. They haven't spotted us yet, one of the pilots said. Their sensors are focused on the bigger ships. Good, Noah replied. Maintain course. The fighters reached the underside of the Vextari ship. Up close, it was even more impressive. The hull stretched out like a metal landscape, covered with weapons and sensor arrays. There, Noah said, pointing to a section near the rear of the ship. That's where the power core is located. Just then, the Vextari ship fired all its main weapons. At once, massive energy beams shot toward the human fleet. Several ships took direct hits. The USS Valiant's shields flared as they absorbed the impact. We need to stop them now, Noah said. Follow me in. He pushed his fighter forward, flying close to the hull to avoid being detected. The other fighters followed. They reached the target area and saw it was protected by energy shields. Hit the shield generators first, Noah ordered. Locations marked on your displays. The fighters split up, each targeting a different generator. They fired their weapons simultaneously. Small explosions bloomed across the hull of the Vextari. Ship, shield weakening, one of the pilots reported. Again, Noah commanded. They fired a second volley. This time, the shield flickered and died. The shield is down, another pilot shouted. Now for the power core, Noah said. Use your proton torpedoes. Each fighter carried 2 special torpedoes designed to penetrate armor and explode inside. They were saving them for this moment. Fire! Noah ordered. All 6 fighters launched their torpedoes at the exposed section of the hull. The weapons hit their target and drilled through the metal. Seconds later, explosions rocked the Vextari ship. Direct hit, a pilot exclaimed. Get clear, Noah shouted. The fighters turned and raced away from the flagship. Behind them, more explosions spread across the alien vessel. Its lights flickered as power systems failed. The flagship is losing power, the sensor officer on the Defender reported. Their weapons are offline. Admiral Clark leaned forward in his chair. Now's our chance. All ships target the Vextari flagship. Fire at will. The combined human and Lumidian fleet fired everything they had at the crippled Vextari ship. Energy beams, torpedoes, and missiles streaked across space. They hit the flagship from all sides. The massive alien vessel couldn't withstand the assault. More explosions tore through its hull. Sections broke apart, venting atmosphere and crew into space. They're sending a transmission, the communications officer said. Put it through. Admiral Clark ordered. A harsh, grating voice came over the speakers. This is Supreme Commander VexCorps. We ... Request terms. The bridge crew looked at each other in surprise. The Vextari were surrendering. This is Admiral Joseph Clark of the United Earth Defense Fleet, the Admiral replied. Our terms are simple. Leave this sector and never return. Any Vextari ships found in this region of space in the future would be destroyed. There was a long pause. Then, we ... accept your terms. The damaged Vextari flagship slowly turned away. The remaining enemy ships moved to protect it as they retreated. Should we pursue, sir? The tactical officer asked. Admiral Clark shook his head. No, let them go. Let them tell others what happened here when they faced Deathworlders. Noah's fighters returned to the Defender. When he reached the bridge, the crew applauded. Admiral Clark stood and shook his hand. Well done, Commander, he said. Your knowledge of the enemy was the key to victory. Thank you, sir, Noah replied. But it was a team effort. Humans and Lumidians working together. Zalthrax approached Noah. When we summoned you, we sought a warrior to save us. Instead, we found an entire species of warriors. We're not just warriors, Noah said, but we will fight when we need to. In the days that followed, the fleet returned to HFY. They had lost 7 ships and many good people, but they had won a decisive victory. The Vextari were retreating from the entire sector. 2 weeks after the battle, representatives from Earth and HFY met in the Grand Hall of the Temple. Admiral Clark and Zalthrax signed a formal alliance between their worlds. Earth would help protect the Lumidians, and in return, the Lumidians would share their technology. This marks the beginning of a new era for both our peoples, Zalthrax said at the ceremony. And for this entire region of space, Admiral Clark added. Together, we can build something better than either of us could alone. After the ceremony, Noah found Olivia waiting for him in the garden. The blue-green plants of HFY glowed softly in the evening light. So, Olivia said with a smile, about that conversation we never finished. Noah took her hand. I've had a lot of time to think about it. Being summoned to an alien world, fighting a war, all of it. And I realized something. What's that? That. Some things are worth crossing the stars for, Noah said. Including you. Olivia stepped closer. I came across 20 light years to find you. I think that says something too. They kissed under the alien sky, with 2 moons rising above them. Later that evening, Noah stood with Zalthrax on a balcony overlooking the city. Repairs were underway on buildings damaged during the war. Humans and Lumidians worked side by side. Your people made a mistake summoning me, Noah said. But it turned out to be a good mistake. The best kind, Zalthrax agreed. One that leads to unexpected friendship. Noah looked up at the stars. Earth was out there, invisible at this distance, but connected now by the Void Gate. And beyond, Earth were countless other worlds waiting to be discovered. "What will you do now?" Zalthrax asked. "Will you return to Earth?" "Eventually," Noah said. "But first, I think I'll stay here a while longer. There's still a lot our peoples can learn. From each other. And perhaps there are other species out there who need to learn about Deathworlders." Zalthrax suggested. Noah smiled. "Let's hope they're a bit more careful about how they introduce themselves." In the distance, a ship rose from the spaceport. It was a new design, built with both human and Lumedian technology. The first of many that would explore the stars together. The mistake of summoning a Deathworlder had changed everything, and the galaxy would never be the same again.